everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here, and I really don't know what to say at this point in time. I'm just disgusted and devastated. This is Up From the Underground Presents Football, Week 16, and before we get into the topics of discussion today, I will always introduce the panelists. He always enjoys a night of drunk driving in Mario Kart, Captain Shenanigans.
Hey, if I'm gonna get drunk and drive, I'm gonna do it safely.
And this other guy has beaten Super Metroid more times than I can count on one hand, the Notorious Mr. Beagle.
I can do it in less than an hour now.
Let me ask you guys a crazy question.
There are no crazy questions,
Only crazy people.
Are we still Jets fans today?
Yes. You don't bail on a team just because they do bad. Otherwise, where would the Detroit Lions be? Where would the Browns be?
It was one of the most disturbing ways to end this season.
I thought it was very poetic the way it ended. It ended exactly the way that they played the entire season. They were this close and then messed it up themselves. Through no fault of anybody else but except them.
One of the talking heads on the TV said it best. It was the typical Jets way to end. It was the typical way to end the season, just the way they played it. Terrible and bad.
I definitely think that the team is going in for a crazy overhaul after this season.
They should.
I also think that it was a big mistake to do what they did today. They announced that McElroy is now officially our quarterback for the rest of the season. You should have done it 2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, but I mean, better late than never.
Better late than never. We got to see what he's capable of doing for an entire game, and not just half of a game against the Arizona Cardinals.
And quite honestly, I wish I had the highlights to show you this. When McElroy was in against the Cardinals, I wish I could explain this in better terms, but I'm not very good with words.
Paint us a word picture.
His deceptive movements to fool the defense are so much better than Mark Sanchez's.
We played
He's more deliberate.
Alabama.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For 3 years, he was a
sold
starter.
it. Yeah, well, he sells it.
He sells it much better than Sanchez does.
Mm-hmm.
He's much more deceptive. He's a much faster runner, and I think he's a bit smarter. And he definitely is in favor of the run.
Sanchez.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, whatever's going to happen to Sanchez, whether they let him go or they actually just force him to sit on the bench so they don't eat that $8 million that they have to pay the guy, I really hope that McElroy shows us that he can, in fact, be a starting quarterback because, you know something? They shouldn't have to focus on that right now. They've got to focus on seriously rebuilding this team, figuring out what they need to do to replace some guys on their O-line, worry about their wide receivers, worry about their special teams, worry about everything else, not just the quarterback.
I'm a little scared that Brandon Moore is going to retire.
How old is he?
Bart Scott, too.
Yeah,
Bart Scott, Calvin Pace,
older.
there's a lot of
Pace is
guys that
younger.
are on the way.
Pace is younger.
Yeah, Pace is younger, but, I mean, their defense is getting older.
At the same
every
time...
season that they don't win, it's another year that they've kind of wasted, so to say.
At the same time, one of the things that was very impressive is some guys that had to fill the shoes, especially of Santonio Holmes, like Cumberland. I think that he's going to be a very integral part of the offense next year.
I like what Cumberland's done. He's dropped some easy passes, though. They got to put him into not just the practice squad. They got to put him into the #1 squad.
I like Schillens. I like
He's
Chad
also
Schillens.
someone else that has stepped
Again,
up.
he needs a little bit more practice, but we've seen some great catches from him this year.
I'll tell you what I'm liking, though. I'm liking the front 3, front 4 of the defense. Wilkerson's going to be a Pro Bowler this year.
Wilkerson
Absolutely.
should
Quinton
be a Pro Bowler.
Coples is coming along great.
Also,
Yeah.
And Mike DeVito all of a sudden came alive at the end of the season.
I've been following DeVito since they put him on the field. I like what he does. I mean, what I was impressed about this year was he really got a little bit more speed in his game. Last year he was ultra slow.
He dropped some weight, and he was able to concentrate more on leg strength. And that counts in being able to get to the ball quicker.
There's a lot of stuff that needs to be improved, but I really think that there have been some improvements that did just show up as the team progressed. Now, all they have to do is really attack the other matters that need improvement, gather the strengths that they've developed, fix the gaps that are now officially in front of them, and maybe, just maybe, next year they can start on a good path to recovery. Because after us being Jets fans, what we witnessed in 2009 and 2010, it is far too quick to be back where we started. It shouldn't be this quick.
It is. And you know what the problem is that they built those teams specifically to win now. And it's really just a flip of the coin as to whether or not it actually succeeds. Because we've seen teams that are built to win now in the NFL, and they failed miserably.
When they signed Antonio Holmes, and Braylon Edwards, I said right then and there that this team better win because they're built to win now and they won't win in the next year.
That's very, very true.
And you were there.
Yeah. And I was there. I witnessed it.
Now here's an interesting topic of conversation.
Please no more Jets.
That Giants-Falcons game.
Oh, what the hell?
Here's the question. Which one of them is in fact the real team? Did the Falcons just finally play in their playoff mode?
No,
because or did the Giants just suddenly get a crazy funk?
You know what? The Giants do this constantly. So I'm not too worried about the Giants. It's the Falcons.
That game was all about the Falcons. They finally started playing their best football, and it showed. All over the field, every which way you look, they were at their best they've been all season against the Giants.
And you have no right to worry about the Giants, Captain. It's the Giants that need to worry about the Giants.
Well, that's
because
true.
Of that loss, they have a much bigger problem than they were yesterday.
They're not even in the playoffs right now.
I know.
Right now, but there's still A, 2 weeks left, and B, one of the teams that has to lose will lose in the next 2 weeks. That allows the Giants into the playoffs.
Well, you're right. I mean...
So, as long as they win out, which they can do...
Not against Baltimore.
Oh, they can beat Baltimore.
I think they can. It's the Eagles I don't think they'll beat.
That Baltimore's in right now...
The Eagles will do all they possibly can to prevent the Giants from winning. Even when they stink, they manage to do it.
Ooh, last game of the season, Eagles at Giants.
Yeah,
that's a game to watch.
That is a game to watch. The Eagles have only been a half of a team this year, meaning that they've only played one half of a football game.
And going into the other topic, speaking of the NFC East as a whole, them and the AFC North, practically the door has been blown wide open. At this point in time with those two divisions, except for two teams in each respectively, there is lots and lots of competition. I heard that the Bengals may in fact take the AFC North.
Yeah, the Bengals can. But the Ravens are guaranteed a spot because a good portion of because Pittsburgh lost. A, B, the teams that that would need to catch up can't at this point. So the Ravens are guaranteed a playoff spot whether or not they win the AFC North or not.
Before we go into our third out of our 4 two-a-days, this week we're going to be discussing the AFC and NFC West. Captain Shenanigans, put down the Cosmo magazine.
Oh, come on, but I'm reading about rebound sex. The good, the bad, and the totally awkward.
Give me that!
Yes, but we're supposed to be focusing on the feetballs. Anyway, station identification, Captain.
Guys, if you don't already know, and what week are we in? 16. This is our 17th show, technically, because we've had a preseason special. 17 shows in, and if you don't realize you're watching football goulash, I feel bad for you. For those of you who are just tuning in, and I don't know how you can tune in halfway to a program that's already on YouTube, the point is you're watching football goulash. The AFC West has been in a division of mediocrity for the past 5 years.
Oh boy, this is a tough one, actually. This is going to be one of the more competitive divisions in football.
This is going to be one of the tightest divisions in the AFC.
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to get healthy. I think they're going to come out winning the division.
Healthy Chiefs team is the best of the bottom of the barrel here.
It's pretty much do or die for San Diego.
I'm sorry, San Diego. No.
I actually had the wild card going to the Denver Broncos this year.
Yes, they've got a very good defense. They don't have anything else.
Sorry, Oakland.
This year, there is going to be some competition, but I still will have the 49ers ranked at first.
The 49ers are your best bet. We're actually counting on them to run away with this division.
I look for Seattle to go 9-7 or maybe even 10-6.
The Seattle Seahawks were going to look better because they didn't take a single step backwards.
As for the Sea Chickens, yes, they vastly improved their offense.
Rams in third.
The Rams, they're going to stay exactly where they've been for the past 5 years, in third place. Or last place, depending on your philosophical outlook on life.
If Arizona starts Skelton, they'll end up in third. If they start Cobb, they'll end up in fourth.
Sorry, Arizona, but your team is going to be in the cellar.
Mr. Beagle, how in God's name did you pick the Chiefs to run away with the AFC West?
Magic!
Like I said, before we started recording, they got injured again. A lot of the same guys.
It wasn't just injuries, it was bad management.
Also,
it was bad.
Also, Castle seems to have pulled Lamar Sanchez and regressed.
I have an even more challenging question. Why'd you pick the Raiders to be the second place team?
Same
they
reason.
actually looked good in the preseason. Believe it or not, they looked good. They looked very un-Raiderish.
The problem with
so I can
ranking
defend
teams,
your...
the problem with ranking teams in the preseason is that you only have to go on the preseason games, which really don't tell the story.
It's very
in fact,
tough.
there's only one team I can think of who showed their true colors in the preseason, and that's the Jets.
Yeah, that's true.
And all you got to go off of is what a team looks like on paper. Paper doesn't translate into the real world.
Look at the Lions. They're the best 4-9 team in the NFL.
They're the best 4-9 team I've ever seen.
Of course, I'm going to basically say I'm still surprised that none of you thought that the Broncos were at least going to make some kind of a splash.
I was cautiously optimistic.
You, Captain, had them coming in third. Yeah. You had them coming in dead last. And you also said that they didn't have Decker, which in fact they did this year.
I thought he was. I thought he was traded to St. Louis.
That was the persistent rumors, but they never actually went through with them.
So. Why I picked the Chargers to take the division.
It's a reasonable... No,
same reason I picked Oakland to be second.
It's a reasonable choice based on what you've known from the preseason and last season.
Well, it was also because of the fact that I thought that Norv Turner was finally going to get his head out of this platoon and start figuring out how to win games.
Is going to have a rad drunk party with Andy Reid, come New Year's.
Speaking of that, the whole thing with the coaches with all of that, as well as possible quarterbacks moving around teams, I gotta mention something really funny that I heard. So Chris Carter was on with Mike and Mike in the morning today, and he started a brand new segment called He Got to Go, in which they basically gave a list of quarterbacks on each team, and should they stick with them or should they let them go? They threw out the name Brady Quinn. Chris Carter says, and I quote, "Did he even get there?" As far as the NFC West goes, we were all pretty much 100% accurate. Yeah. We all had the 49ers taking the division, and we all had the Seahawks coming in second.
Yeah.
So practically, there's really nothing to say about the Rams or the Cardinals because it really doesn't matter. These teams were... But...
Did anyone get it perfect? The NFC West?
Mr. Beagle.
Hey.
Mr. Beagle, because of the fact that he said if a certain quarterback would be the starter for Arizona, that would be the outcome. And because of the fact that Skelton pretty much ended up taking Cobb's place after Cobb got injured, you said that if Skelton started, that the Cardinals would be in last. And you were right.
Huh. Wow.
But I didn't expect the Rams to actually have a formidable season.
I did. Jeff Fisher has turned that team. When I had my first job out of college, I learned a very, very important lesson from my mentor. You can't make gold out of crap.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're Jeff Fisher.
Huh.
Rams have a lot of talent, but they had nobody to bring it together. Believe it or not, they have a top 10 defense. They've got great receivers in Brian Quick and Danny Amendola.
And personally, I thought that Sam Bradford is not a bad quarterback. I think he has a great form.
He's not bad.
He has good form.
But he should not be a starting quarterback.
Call me crazy.
You're
crazy.
You know a quarterback I think would fit very well into Jeff Fisher's scheme?
Mark Sanchez?
No.
Brady Quinn?
Christian Ponder.
I don't think the Vikings are going to let him go at this point because they really don't have anybody else.
But imagine Christian Ponder throwing the ball to Amendola, Steven Jackson, and Brian Quick.
That might actually work out.
Well, the problem with the Vikings, and I heard this also this morning from Chris Carter, a former Viking, the problem with Minnesota right now is they just need another good wide receiver, which they don't have.
They need a good quarterback.
Not because Percy Harvin's hurt.
Yeah. Besides Percy Harvin, they really don't have anybody else that's that good.
Percy Harvin, his entire career, has dealt with these problems.
Remember Percy Harvin and Sidney Rice were both on the team? That was a fantastic duo.
That was a duo, and then Sidney Rice fled to Seattle.
Well, it's not really fled because Seattle is now looking like one of the biggest threats in the entire game. They're going to make a monster playoff run. However, San Francisco really made a statement this past weekend.
Even if the Seahawks beat San Francisco this week, and then San Francisco and Seattle both win next week, San Francisco still gets the NFC West.
San Francisco basically said, yeah, we are the real deal, and they basically took down one of the better teams in the AFC.
And I even said it was not Alex Smith's doing. You couldn't replace Alex Smith with literally anyone. And they did. They replaced him with Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
Alex Smith is not going to be a 49er next year.
No.
Mark my words.
No.
For all I know, I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona picked him up instead. There's a lot of teams that will be looking for a starting quarterback.
I don't think he'll stay in the same division.
Eagles will.
No.
There's a lot of teams that are going to be looking for...
Eagles won't pick him up. They're going to try Nick Foles. Yeah.
You really think so?
Yeah. They're going to stick with Nick Foles, at least for the next season.
So, let's go into the tallies, everybody. And comment, like, and subscribe if you are, in fact, listening to and watching us, because we do have pretty pictures of ourselves, right, Captain?
Yes, indeed.
It's going to be an interesting week this week. As we go through the picks, we are, in fact, heading into the Christmas holiday weekend. So I thought that it would be a fun gesture to share each other's segments. After all, sharing means caring, but we're all going to be giving each other input on all three of our segments, so it's going to be a little bit of fun this week, and I'm really excited. So, let's tally up the scores before we go to the picks. We've got another belt, and we've got 1 week left.
That's right!
So, will you be wearing the burgundy suit?
I think so.
So as of now, we've got the captain at 133, 88, and 1.
That's right.
We've got the Notorious Mr. Beagle at 131, 90, and 1, and myself, the Lawn Gnome, at 126, 95, and 1. We're going to go with the Saturday night game, which is the Atlanta Falcons against the Detroit Lions. While we basically said that Detroit is the best 4-10 football team in the league, Atlanta has made a statement, apparently, last week. So, even though they are not at home, I still don't think that Detroit has what it takes to beat them, so I'm going to pick the Falcons.
I was going to say Falcons right off the bat, but watch the Lions put up a fight for the entire game. The score is going to be a lot closer than most people will realize, will think about. Detroit has a chance of playing spoiler, but I don't think they're going to succeed in it.
There's nothing for them to spoil. It's going to be Atlanta.
Yeah.
So to the Sunday games, everybody. The Washington Redskins against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Redskins.
Again, Kirk Cousins. He's not bad.
We don't know.
We don't know, but if he does in fact have to start again, it's a positive thing for the Redskins. Kirk Cousins had a very good game. And having someone this reliable on the team at quarterback is a good thing because this will basically give Robert Griffin III to have as much rest time as needed.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
You're excused.
But Washington could have Stephen Hawking as quarterback and still beat the Eagles. The Eagles are going to self-destruct again.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm picking the Redskins too. I don't really care. But
yeah. The Eagles are, again, like I said, only going to play for a half of a game, and it's only going to be the first half. The Redskins are going to win this easily.
The Eagles might as well fly off and go save the hobbits on Mount Doom.
Ha! I see what you did there.
Cool story, bro.
Tell it again.
Tell it again.
So the next game is going to be the Minnesota Vikings against the Houston Texans.
Here's the big question. Can the Texans stop Adrian Peterson?
No.
I was going to say no.
But J.J. Watt can definitely beat Christian Ponder.
Yes. Will the Texans win? Yes. Will they be able to stop Adrian Peterson? No.
You think Peterson breaks the record?
I think Peterson breaks the record.
They interviewed Matt Schaub on ESPN Radio this week, and he said, I'd love to see him break the record, just not against me.
Of course.
Well, that's interesting, because I think he's not going to break the record against Houston. He's got 18-12 now, and he's 21-05.
He's going to get close to the
record.
That's
just under 300.
You mean break the record this week?
Yeah, he's not going to break it this week.
He's not going to break it this week. He's going to break it by...
He's going to get damn close, though.
Exactly.
I'm picking the Vikings to upset Houston at home.
Wow. That's a bold prediction, man.
I think that Frazier finally learned that Peterson is the way to go, and he won't give it to Ponder all that much. And when they do, he's not that bad.
You know something? I've listened to the both of you, and you know something, Mr. Beagle? As much as I want to see the Texans win, I may in fact go and agree with you and pick the Vikings on this game.
Don't pander to me, boy.
It's just because of the fact that, look, it's a great game. Two great teams against one another.
Yeah,
but I do feel that the Vikings still have a lot of fight left, and they can definitely turn some more heads for the rest of the year.
The fact that the Vikings, through some weird tiebreakers, now own the 6th spot in the NFC. So yeah, the Giants won. I'm sorry, the Giants lost and the Cowboys won, so the Vikings get the 6th spot.
Yeah, it's.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with it. I'm just going to go along with it and say that they are so motivated right now.
I agree.
They are
That's why I think
right
the Vikings can win it too. I agree.
I'm not convinced.
Well, I don't... Look, if the Texans win, I'm not going to be surprised either.
Yeah.
So let's go to the Indianapolis Colts against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it happening?
Is this a toilet bowl of the week for all of us?
No.
Are you seriously picking the Chiefs, man?
No. I'm just saying it's not the toilet bowl of the week.
Oh.
No, look, the Colts...
I'm picking the Colts.
The Colts are going to win this game. Look, the Chiefs are... Why even continue the season?
It just... Interesting side note here. Andrew Luck does have the most interceptions in the NFL right now.
That is correct. Out of all the starting quarterbacks, he has most interceptions.
Well, didn't Brett Favre also have that exact same thing too?
No, he has the most career
interceptions.
Yeah.
Yet look at what he's done in his career. Yeah, so I guess it's Colts across the board, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no surprise. The Buffalo Bills against the Miami Dolphins.
The Buffalo Bills? Why is this... That's another one. It's another why is this going on.
Well... I don't know.
Neither team has anything left to prove. They're just going to go through the motions.
The Dolphins just want to one-up the Jets at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the Dolphins. They're at home. Not that that means much, but I guess maybe half the Bills players will get heat stroke because they're not used to playing in 50-degree weather. You know?
Won't be many people there, by the way.
Yeah.
No, hey, we'll get
Miami Stadium seats 75,000 people. You know how many showed up for their last game? 37,000. Half.
Well, comment, like, and subscribe, and at this point in time, we're going to turn this to the Ranting Beagle because it's time for a little share to get on the boat and get off the goat with his panelists.
Goat!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or wherever the hell you are. On this week's edition of Get on the Boat, Get off the Goat, we look at the highs and lows of Week 15. This week's boat goes to the Atlanta Falcons. They're finally showing up and saying, hey, we're an NFL franchise. We should probably play like it. The GOAT, it would be so obvious and so cliche to go with the Jets. But I'm lazy, so I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh, God.
We go from the butt fumble to the foot fumble.
Yeah,
it was such a poetic ending to their playoff hopes. And I look for a huge turnaround from this team next season.
I really hope so.
This week's Stat of the Week, Mr. Gnome, I believe you had one for me.
Yes, it's one that has actually been featured a lot, and I just found it so interesting this week. And it's actually two Stats of the Week because it involves the same team, and it's the New York Giants. As we all know, the Giants lost a horrendous game against the Atlanta Falcons. Not only was it a horrendous loss, it was a shutout. The last time the New York Giants got shut out was December 1st, 1996. And on top of that, this is the first time since the 1981 Oakland Raiders in which a defending Super Bowl champion was shut out the season after they won their Super Bowl.
And I got one more stat for you.
That's interesting.
There were 2 shutouts through weeks 1 through 14 in the entire NFL. And all of a sudden in week 15, we have 3.5.
3.5?
Yep.
What the half?
You think the Jets' effort really deserves to put points on the board?
Oh, boy.
Anyway.
I guess I walked into that one.
I'm going to go walk the dog because I'm Mr. Beagle.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for allowing us to participate. So we're going to continue with the picks. The Cincinnati Bengals against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know what to say. But again, what am I talking about? I do. Collapse of dynasty. In the most horrible fashion possible for Ben Roethlisberger and his Pittsburgh Steelers. A team that suddenly has lost a running game, can't connect, and they got head garbage all over the frickin' place. Now they're going to be going up, even though they are going to be in Pittsburgh, against a red-hot Cincinnati Bengals team.
I see what you did there.
That has a very good chance of getting the AFC North. And as far as I'm concerned, terrible towels or not, the Cincinnati Bengals will win this game.
Did you see that terrible towel at the Cowboys Stadium
last
game? Of course
I did!
Yes.
The one that was like, 10 feet by 10 feet?
Yeah.
And they still lost.
They still lost, which is kind of funny.
It's very, very easy to pick a team that's hot to beat a team that's not. which is why I'm going to do it. Cincinnati Bengals are going to win ugly, but they are going to win. Roethlisberger is still one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, I think. So I just don't see the Cincinnati defense giving up that many points to them.
That's exactly the reason why I was going to pick the Bengals, is because the Steelers' defense has looked pretty shoddy and Swiss cheesy as of late, and right now the Bengals' offense is built to take advantage of that type of situation. I think the Bengals are going to win it. It's not going to be a shootout, and it's going to be a lower scoring game than people are going to predict it to be. I even think it might even be a slugfest with the way that the Steelers are just going to constantly throw blitzes and throw the running game at the Bengals defense.
What running game?
Whatever they have left of it.
The next matchup is the St. Louis Rams against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
For reals?
You know why?
Because both teams have nothing to play for.
And so it's just going to be a fun and exciting game to watch.
You're going to see a bunch of subs.
It's going to be that. It's just going to be a very entertaining game, and the question is really going to be which one wants to look less sucky at the end of this season. Because the Rams are looking pretty good, Tampa Bay was looking really good, and now they're going down. So who's going to win this game? Believe it or not, I'm actually going to go with the Rams.
And I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
I was going to say Tampa Bay.
The Cannons are going to be firing.
They're better at home. They're going to want to prove to at least their fans that this season was slightly worth it in terms of what could happen in the future. So I think the Buccaneers are going to win this one. It's not going to be pretty, that's for sure.
The next game is going to be the New Orleans Saints against the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Ooh, I'm salivating at this one.
Me too.
Because everybody's back. All suspensions are nullified. They have a full team, minus Sean Payton. And yeah, the hottest team in the NFC right now, which is the Dallas Cowboys. In Dallas.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oof. Dallas is fighting for their livelihood. They control their own destiny. If they win out, they pretty much win the NFC East.
Oh boy.
Even if the Giants win out, okay, let's put it this way. If the Cowboys win out, it's impossible for the Redskins to win out because they played the Redskins last week of the season. Even if the Giants win out, the Cowboys still win the NFC East by strength of victory. So,
who gets the victory?
Who gets the victory indeed? I want to know what you guys think I'm going to say.
I have a feeling, believe it or not, that you're actually going to pick the Saints.
I honestly have no idea who you're going to pick. I know you want to see me eat a shoe, but does that impact on what you think is going to actually happen? I have no idea.
I am going to pick the Saints.
I had a feeling. But why?
Seriously, what's your reasoning
before I say my part? Because I'm thinking the same thing, believe it or not.
Because look what the Saints did to the Buccaneers.
That's one reason.
And to be quite honest, the Cowboys and the Buccaneers are almost on the same level. The difference is the Buccaneers have had a harder schedule.
Well, that's true, actually.
They've had to go up against Atlanta twice. They've had to go up against the Saints twice. And I think the Saints are a better team now that they're complete. Vilma's back. Their defense is much stronger now. So they're, even though they are still ranked last in the league, they're not really last in the league anymore.
On paper, they shouldn't be last in the league. That's the thing.
No, paper, they should be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. I was going to say New Orleans right off the bat, but I wanted to see what you said first. Not only because it was your game of the week, but I just think that this is that magical time of year when the Cowboys start imploding. When everything is on the line, Tony Romo fails. Okay? And what's the most important part of an offense is the quarterback. And when it matters the most, Romo has a history of failing hardcore, especially at moments like these.
So you're picking the Saints as well?
I'm picking the Saints.
And you know something? You actually hit the reason as to why I was going to pick the Saints as well. There's a lot riding on this game. Believe it or not, for both. The division and a playoff spot is there for the Cowboys. The Saints are just trying to end this season with dignity. But you take a look at the matchup. Drew Brees, Tony Romo. If there's one guy that knows how to keep it together, even when there's really nothing left to fight for, Drew Brees is still going to get the job done.
I actually think it'll be a bad day for both quarterbacks. I think it's going to be...
You really think so?
I think it's going to be a ground and pound type game. It's going to be a low-scoring game, a very defensive game.
I didn't think it was going to be a very high-scoring game.
Both quarterbacks are going to have at least one pick.
Oh, yeah.
I said this all year. It's Drew Brees. And Romo has got nothing on this guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Titans versus the Green Bay Packers alongside the game after. Well, I guess I might as well say it. Fetch me the bucket.
The Packers are going to win. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be a steamroll. You know, especially in the Lambeau Field. The Titans, you know, have played spoiler already. They have nothing left to spoil.
This is going to be a great game for the Packers because they're going to go out and score 35 points the first half, and then they're going to rest their starters because they finally are getting everybody back healthy.
They don't,
and they want to get into the playoffs. But if Tennessee keeps it close, the starters will still stay in because the Packers are fighting for a number 2 spot in the NFC, and they want that first round bye.
Correct. But, I mean, the thing is that the Titans, they just don't have that oomph to do it.
Green Bay is basically going to say, they're going to come onto the field and say, who the hell are you? Let us show you how it's done. The Packers win. The New England Patriots against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get me the hell out of here!
Yeah, this is my toilet bowl of the week. This is two teams that have fan bases which no one else can stand. You know,
I've never met a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
I've met one in my entire life, and he was a deplorable human being.
If you know, so, as far as this game goes, I'm gonna pick New England. If I have to look at one more Chad Henne check down pass, I think I'm gonna puke.
This is one of the few games I don't even want to watch because it's going to be a bloodbath.
Only
this
Chad Henne's blood.
The Patriots are going to destroy this team. I guarantee you, and I'm saying this right now, someone in that stadium is going to be crying.
The Patriots are not going to destroy the Jaguars. The Jaguars are just going to do their regular implode in the middle of the game. There's going to be a lot of drop passes. There's going to be a lot of misreads. There's going to be interceptions. Runs for 1, 2, 3 yards. 3 and outs galore. It's going to be Jacksonville losing this game, not the Patriots winning it.
Comment, like, and subscribe, and it's time to turn on the fasten seatbelt sign and put your tray tables in the upright position, because it's time for Lessons Learned with the Captain.
That is right, folks. This is your Captain speaking, and of course, this is Lessons Learned. First lesson learned of last week. Whoops! You went to bed too early Sunday night, didn't you? When it was still 31-3, but the Patriots came all the way back. You won't be doing that again, will you? Patriots still lost, though, which is pretty funny. And according to QBs, quarterbacks in this game, tattoos are officially cooler than women's footwear. The
yes!
The
yes!
Yeah.
More.
Tattoos cooler than women's footwear.
I want more. Bring more.
Okay, lesson number 2. There's a 3-way tie atop the NFC East. Are the Giants just trolling everyone? Will the Cowboys collapse now or in the playoffs? Really? The Redskins? Is it a rule that every division has to have a playoff team?
Yes.
Number 3. The Ravens rehired Cam Cameron. Name him the starting quarterback. Meanwhile, a crappy team thinks it lost to an inferior team is told to be delusional. Number 4. Falcons don't win a playoff game again this week. Meanwhile, Arizona recommences a quest for a perfect year after 9 straight losses. No? Man, you are a hard nut to crack.
He's very.
Number 5. Dolphins announce plans to build a new 4,114-seat stadium, while the Vikings decide to wait to donate Peterson to science until after Week 17. And, of course, your last lesson of the week, and probably one of my favorites, cornball white guy ends up beating the Browns. That's it. That's about it. Oh, and we have a special guest lessons learned straight from the Lawn Gnome.
Thank you very much, Captain. Your special bonus for this holiday edition of our show. Once again, Andrew Luck gets one-upped by RG3. as RG3 sits on the bench. While Kirk Cousins has a very impressive victory with over 300 yards, the media goes to lowly RG3 on the bench and asks him, how do you feel?
Alright, folks, thanks for listening, and hopefully I got a couple of chuckles out of you guys. Certainly not from Mr. Beagle today. Yeah, indeed. Again, this is Lessons Learned, and let's go back to the picks.
Sounds like a good idea, sir. Thank you very much. Let's go to the Oakland Raiders versus the Carolina Panthers.
Why?
Ironically, two teams that happen to come out with victories.
Ugh. It's just why. That actually might be my toilet bowl of the week. Turlet bowl? Yeah, sure. Turlet! Yes, it is so bad, it is in fact a turlet bowl.
I don't even need an explanation. I'm gonna pick Carolina, mainly because of the following fact. The Panthers score touchdowns, the Raiders don't.
Yes, I'm picking the Panthers. Cam Newton is still very Cam Newton-y.
Yeah, I was gonna pick the Panthers because
Fig Newton.
I love Fig Newtons, actually. Cam Newton has the chance to run in for touchdowns, which he does. At least once per game this season. The Raiders rely on Sebastian Janikowski to kick three-pointers. In terms of who's going to score more points, the obvious choice is going to be Carolina, because 7 versus 3, 7-3 could be the final score of this game, believe it or not. Panthers.
And now for the game that I really don't even think is worth watching, the San Diego Chargers versus the New York Jets.
Ugh.
I will be watching this game, but I will let you guys know, my jerseys are now officially done for the season.
Oh,
I ain't putting on a Jets jersey till next season.
So the same goes for me. But I'm still going to pick, believe it or not, I'm going to pick the Jets in this game.
You know what? You're not the only one. I think that this is going to be a very important game, believe it or not. It may not be watched by the Jets fans because of the lousiness that we're all feeling right now, but McElroy is the X factor. Let's see what he does. This could be a beginning of the shaping of the next season.
He may actually throw more than 10 times.
He could.
Who are you picking?
Actually, I'm picking the Jets. Because I think that the Jets' defense is still stepping up. They've done a pretty bang-up job this season, despite all the losses incurred. The Chargers' offense is not going to score the points needed to win the game.
Just so you know, man, you still have the game. You still have a bell to ring.
No, I know.
Just being aware. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns against the Denver Broncos.
The Poops!
The interesting thing about this game, guys, is this will not be a shutout. Cleveland has a lot of fight in them this year. They're 5-9, and they're not looking like a real bad team. But
they're poised for next year.
Absolutely.
Next year they could do stuff. This is not their year.
They're the only team to ever say, wait till next year.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah.
I'm still going to pick the Broncos to win this game.
Oh, who wouldn't pick the Broncos?
The Broncos are going to win.
Cleveland fans!
The Broncos are going to win, but it's going to be closer than people imagine.
Right.
Broncos are going to win.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
The Broncos are not going to try their hardest. That's for sure.
on a game where almost everything matters. The New York Giants against the Baltimore Ravens.
Is Ray Lewis back? Yes.
Really?
You think
I don't know for sure.
Without
I'm guessing he's back. Suggs is not, but Ray Lewis is.
Well, that is probably one of the biggest things you really need on this team right now. He has to be more than... Look, he's a great motivational speaker, but he's a hell of a lot better when he's on the field.
They have a lot more problems than just defense for the Ravens right now. That's why I'm picking the Giants.
That's strange.
I think the Giants want it more. Right now, the Giants are not even in the playoff pictures. Baltimore is. The Giants really want to prove to everyone, not just their fans, that they can win this game, win out the season, and get their asses in the playoffs.
You're missing something important here.
And I strongly disagree with you.
I don't disagree with him, but I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the Ravens to win this game because you're missing something important.
What's that?
The Ravens are already in the playoffs.
Yes, they are.
But if they don't win their division, they will not be at home for the playoff game, and they know they have the advantage at home in the playoffs.
Interesting.
So the Ravens want it more.
I don't know. I think the drive to be in the playoffs.
The Giants are not in control of their own destiny, whereas the Ravens are.
If there's one person on the Ravens that wants this win more, it couldn't be anybody else but Joe Flacco.
Ray Rice.
Or Ray Rice. But Flacco, let's just put it this way, is getting a lot of, excuse the pun, flack. He is showing that he may not, in fact, be an elite quarterback.
He's not.
But he's on a very, very elite team.
I wonder if I think Anquan Bolden might be the only person on the Ravens who doesn't care.
He never cared.
But
even when it was on the Cardinals.
While I do agree to an extent that the Giants want it more, I don't think it's all the Giants that are really playing 100% right now. I think the Ravens want it more because they are in just as a tough position as the Giants are right now. And with the Bengals looking as good as they are right now, the Ravens want that spot and they want that division title. So
One thing you two guys missed is that the Giants thrive in this type of adversity.
So do the Ravens.
There is no adversity. The adversity will come in Week 17 when they play the Eagles.
There's a lot of, and you know something? A lot of people saying the Giants will win it too. But I still don't think it's going to happen.
This week, because the Bengals play the Steelers, if the Ravens lose, whichever team wins that game takes over the division.
Wow.
So there's a lot
at stake. That's messed up.
The Chicago Bears against the Arizona Cardinals?
This was actually tough to call with the fight the Cardinals showed me last week.
It's true.
And the Cardinals are at home, and the Bears are 1-5. Here's an interesting side note. Last year, the Bears started the season 7-3, and then finished the season 1-5. This year, the Bears started 7-1, and in the last 6 games are 1-5.
1-5, yeah. You're seeing a pattern.
I do not know what they're doing.
The way the Bears have been playing lately does not convince me that they can put the points up on the board necessary to win a game.
You know what? I'm not getting the belt. I'm picking the Cardinals just for the hell of it.
Oh, man.
In that case, I'm definitely picking the Bears. I want some more distance between you.
I want to say the Bears because right now they want to be in the playoffs. And if they continue to lose games like this, they will end up not being in the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm just going to go with the Bears on this one.
Comment, like, and subscribe, and we're going to go into the last segment, which is mine, Hero and Bust, and I do actually want to have you guys jump in because I honestly didn't figure out a bust.
Oh, I got a bust.
I got a bust. I liked what you had said to me earlier, Captain, and it actually makes a lot of sense because my heroes of the week go to 2 gentlemen, Jason Garrett and the other Ryan, Rob Ryan. The Cowboys just came together, plain and simple. They knew what was at stake. They were going up against one of the most hostile teams in the entire NFL. With the loss that the Giants had and the Redskins' victory, they basically said, okay guys, let's win a football game. And you know what? They did. It took them into overtime, but they won decisively. So as far as I'm concerned, it all goes back to the brains of the operation. And say what you will about Jason Garrett, but I will say this. Rob Ryan has a fantastic defensive mindset. He may not be in one of the most complete teams in the NFL, but he knows what he's doing. So, guys, I have no idea. Who is the bust?
Cheerleaders.
I actually have. Okay. Yeah, I have it's a dual bust. This time.
Yeah, cheerleaders.
It's a Jesus again with it. Anyways, the point being is that I'm going to go with a fairly easy and currently local favorite bust this week. In that I'm splitting the bust between Mike Tannenbaum and Rex Ryan.
So we split the hero and the bust.
Yes, it's going to be split because Mike Tannenbaum has taken an AFC Championship bound Jets and traded away or let go or let people retire on his team and just drove it to the ground. He traded away for players that have made no impact whatsoever. He's just being a terrible general manager. He's not doing his job, which is to make decisions that make the team better. He's been doing the exact opposite. I'm giving it to Rex Ryan this week because he should know better. He should know better than to have let Sanchez play that game and break the record, the two-season record for most turnovers. Okay, Mark
50.
Sanchez has officially passed Phillip Rivers on that list for most turnovers in 2 straight seasons.
Wow.
Yes, with 50, like Mr. Beagle said. Rex Ryan should know
who knows,
better.
if McElroy gets hurt, Sanchez may be back in.
Yeah. Okay, watching the game last night, and I'm not even ashamed to say I saw the game last night, to the end. Watching that game and watching the uninspired play calling, watching Sanchez struggle, it's a wonder what was going through Ryan's head that entire time. That's why I think he deserves a bus this week.
Final game on Sunday night is the San Francisco 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. Someone had to go with a typical game.
You were one. Hey, I haven't done that all season.
That's true.
That is true. I've normally kept away from this.
Yeah,
but this time I really cannot resist. Okay.
Again, with the Sea Chickens, no less.
With the Sea Chickens, no less. Even though I hate them and they're out specifically to ruin my day, which they have done almost consistently this entire season, I think this is the game to watch because not only does it have an immediate impact on the NFC West, but it also changes up the seeding in terms of the playoff pictures. And I think both teams really want to show what they're made of, especially in such a crucial divisional matchup.
Absolutely.
It is very crucial right now.
This is one of the most crucial than ever.
It really, I think this is one of the most important game of the week.
It's better than the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh rivalry, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, right now it is.
You take the hot-handed Kaepernick or the Seattle with their 12-man at home.
Who gets the victory?
Ooh, boy. See, travel isn't an issue here because they're both on the same coast. It's just going up and down. Rather than
actually, both teams are
going
coming
up.
From the East Coast.
That's true.
It is a trip back.
But this is actually one of the few places in which home field advantage plays a huge role.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks are 6-0 at home this season.
It's true.
Yep. Do I go, like Mr. Beagle said, go with the hot-handed Kaepernick, or do I go with the steamrolling Seahawks? I don't know.
See, this is a problem.
Tough.
Wait a minute.
Richard Sherman's...
It's really tough.
See, this is really
man.
tough because Richard Sherman's appeal hearing is Friday. And if it doesn't go well for him,
then
he will not be on the field on Sunday.
Then he's out.
Captain Shenanigans.
This is a very tough pick right here.
Am I anticipating what I think I may in fact be anticipating? Because I haven't seen this in a couple of weeks.
Oh boy.
Couple? You haven't seen it in like 2 months.
Yeah.
I do have it if you need it.
No, I don't think this is going to be a coin flip.
Do you want to open up the forum beforehand?
Yeah, I do want to hear what you guys want to say.
Damn it.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually think the 49ers will win.
You think the 49ers will win?
And here's why.
Why?
Okay. You saw those incredible wins that Seattle had over the last 2 weeks?
They were against inferior teams, though.
Exactly. Who did they really play? They shut out the Arizona Cardinals.
Teams that Alabama
and then the week after that, they destroyed the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, is San Francisco going to be a pushover? Absolutely not. Based on the statement that they made against a very tough team in the New England Patriots, I seriously believe that the San Francisco 49ers have a very good chance at beating them. Even though they're in Seattle, I'm picking the 49ers for the upset.
See, that was my thinking originally, is that the 49ers beat the Patriots.
But they also lost
at home.
and tied to the Rams.
Yes.
And the Rams are...
And I predicted that. Yes.
It's a very tough match, and that's why I picked it.
The argument for San Francisco is that they're in the lead, they have a hot-handed quarterback, and they just beat the Patriots in Foxborough.
Which is a very hard place.
Yes.
A very hard thing to do.
But I'm going to pick the Seahawks, and for one very good reason. Seahawks have a better defense than the Patriots, and... I'm sorry, 2 very good reasons. The Seahawks have a better defense than the Patriots. And the second reason is the 49ers were up on the Patriots 31-3 and allowed the Patriots to come back to tie. I don't think the 49ers can contain the Seahawks running and passing attack. Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson, who finally found his legs, the way he ran in Wisconsin, and the great and talented receiving corps, Seahawks win by a field goal.
By a field goal.
Okay.
See, when you say it like that,
as time's running out.
As time, yeah. Oh wow.
Actually, David Akers tries a 49-yard field goal as time is expiring and misses
it to lose the game.
That,
you know, I would not be surprised if that happens. Not surprised at all, considering, excuse me, that, yeah, I just kept going with that. Considering the fact that San Francisco has been playing pretty well against the good teams in the NFL this season, while they've been struggling with the supposedly bad teams this season. Now, Seattle has always straddled that line between good and bad, in my opinion.
Not this year.
Not, again, no, I mean, they really have. You've had some moments where you're just, it was a WTF moments, you know? And then you've had ones where they were ultra convincing that they were a legitimate NFL team.
Look,
think about this.
Playoffs are riding on this win.
Think about this, though. If the Packers had won that game in Seattle, they currently have the number 2, and the Seahawks would not be in the playoff picture.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
It would be the Bears.
How insane is that?
Look, there's so many different ways to think about how this game can go. These are two extremely strong teams.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Captain, who gets the victory?
I'm going to regret saying this, and I'm going to catch a lot of flack from my cousin, who is a 49ers fan.
Oh, boy.
But I'm going to pick the Seahawks. Because, Mr. Beagle, you had a very convincing argument.
I had nothing convincing? Do I?
No, you did. That's why I'm begrudgingly picking the Seahawks.
You want to know something funny?
Yes.
Based on his speech, I was thinking about changing my pick.
I should run for governor.
Seriously, dude.
He'd be better than who we already have.
Yeah,
actually,
just flash some boobs and everybody will vote for you.
Pretty good. I like Christy too.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
He's fat.
He is.
So's Carson Palmer.
So
we were talking about that all last week.
So funny, yeah. Oh boy, but yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to squeak away with a spoiler win.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, whoever wins this game, it's going to be by a squeak.
It's going to be crazy.
So let me guess.
Yeah.
11 trifectas?
11.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
And how many do the captain and I differ on?
Ooh.
No offense, but you're out of it.
I think it's 2.
Yeah, so the worst I can do is tie.
Yeah.
Actually, the best I can do is tie.
He has the Texans on his own. He has the Giants on his own. And that's it.
And that's it. Oh boy. So the best you can do is tie it.
And mind you, if you wrong on both of them, both of us
catch up.
Although he's out of it. You know he is with 2 weeks left.
Hey, listen, we can completely dovetail our way down, okay?
Well, week 17 is going to be the toughest because we don't know what clubs are going to be fighting for real.
You're going to have to assume that
Peyton Manning, they play the first half. Here comes Dan Orlovsky.
Heck, Russell Wilson could be actually starting, and here comes Matt Flynn.
Oh, that guy? Yeah, whatever happened to that guy?
He basically got bought by Seattle, really? And then Russell Wilson comes in and he basically gets shafted.
Yeah.
Well, much like Clausen.
Oh. Except Clausen deserved
I feel so bad for him. That's it, guys. That wraps up Week 16, and next week is the last week of regular season.
Oh, boy!
So we gotta get into playoff mode, guys.
It's already in playoff mode. Jets are out of it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening once again, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to our wonderful show.
Football Goulash. Wait a minute. Football Goulash.
On behalf of the Notorious Mr. Beagle and Captain Shenanigans, I am the Lawn Gnome, and yes, with a question. What do you think would be the right move for the New York Jets this year, going into the next season?
Fold.
Would it be best to keep Sanchez and just put him on the bench and just spend the $8 million, or take the $8 million hit and get him the hell out of New York? I am the Lawn Gnome saying that actions speak louder than words.
There's a hippo on the lawn?
And a big green M&M too.
Hippo!